I introduced you to my self-massage practice using massage balls. You can use a tennis ball, lacrosse ball. Sometimes I use these balls as well. They're a little heavier and they're rubbery. Honestly, I prefer the lightweight ball, the cork one, and I'm going to show you why and how I use it, for example, in my yoga practice to help with something I'm dealing with currently, right? And I'll show you what that is.
I'd like to invite you to just be, and in your stillness, notice spaces of nothing amongst everything within and around you. Allow yourself to breathe.
One thing I love about yoga is it's going to show you where there are imbalances in your body. So with my hip abductors, I'm having some issues. And it's a whole group of muscles that are responsible for abducting the leg, right? These group of muscles also are responsible for stabilizing and bringing balance to the hip and to the pelvis. I'm having issues here. This muscle right now is tensing up. It is not letting me bring my hip to neutral without some fight back. And we can't fight a tense, angry muscle. It's a battle we're not going to win. In fact, let's recognize that not all battles should be fought with fire. Kindness gives way to softness, and then we can have a conversation leading to peace. So let's see how that works today through yoga and through this practice using my tension relief massage balls. My hip abductors, they're tensing up on me right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little peaceful conversation with them. Here's how I do it. Leaning down on my forearm, shoulder over top of elbow, my knees stacked on top of one another, and shifting my hips up and then placing the ball right in the area where the hip abductors hang out. And so it's a muscle group. And what I'm doing is finding where the tension is using the ball. So I'm going on an exploration right now, and I found it. It just took my breath away. I don't know if you heard that, but it did. It took my breath away. And so I went back to it because as soon as it took my breath away, I went away from it. But I'm going to go back to it. That's just the nervous system response, which is completely normal. I'm going back to it. I found it. I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to sit on it and I'm going to breathe into it. I'm breathing into it. And I already feel it start to soften. Now, I will say this is not for everybody, meaning massages aren't for everybody. Self-massages are not for everybody. Some people love them. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love it because I know what's on the other side of it. But when I'm first approaching a tense muscle, I would prefer not to deal with it. But because I know I have my breath as my tool, and because I know how effective this can be at bringing functional well-being to my body, it is a sensation that I'm willing to endure because it's not painful. It's just a sensation. It's just a sensation. And already there we go. That area that was super tense when I first laid on it, it's not tense anymore. It's not tense anymore. So now what I'm going to do is roll around gently on it. Whereas first I just sat on it, and they do say normally you should just sit on the muscle, allowing it to soften, and then you move around on it. So my movement in this particular case is really just kind of rocking back and forth. Nothing major, rocking back and forth. Some people will take their leg open, maybe even out to the side. It depends on what your body needs or wants or what's comfortable to you if you're going to do this. All right, so I think I've had enough in that area. I'm gonna close my knees again, and I'm gonna find another area in that muscle group that could use a little bit of kindness right now, right? So I'm going on an exploration in my hip abductors. Found it. Found it. There we go. I'm gonna sit. Maybe I just bring my arm to the side. This is a bit more intense because I'm putting more pressure on that area, but it's allowing me to, and I'm gonna use my breath to soften my entire body, and eventually that specific area as well. Now, if you're doing this at home, you can stay as long as you want. I'm going to move right on and start to move around right there. I'm going to lean up a little bit because that's what I'm requiring to get into that right now. Yeah, nice. It is softening up. Nice, very good. As I know it from my anatomy classes, I'm dealing with 3 main muscles right now that are all responsible for bringing that leg to the side. And one of them finds its way towards the front as well, towards the front of the body. I want to say, be sure that you're not on bony parts. Make sure that wherever you have your ball, that it's on soft tissue, muscles, fascia, soft tissue only, because you can't massage bones. So that's that. And if you want to move more and get to the gluteus maximus and all the muscles that are deep to that, you can do that as well here. Move around, find where there's some tension and resistance, meet it with kindness so that you can have a peaceful conversation. Ooh, I just found another area. How about I sit on that a little bit more? I'm gonna breathe into it. It's a little further south of where I was before. So it's a little further south of my iliac crest, which is the top of the pelvic bowl. So I'm down into my, I don't know, that might be my piriformis area, my gluteus medius. That might be where I'm at right now, but it's softening. It's definitely softening, which is really nice. So what's going to happen is I'm going to roll a little bit more here. Lovely, lovely. This is where the reward is. This is very rewarding. Okay, so now I could do this all day, but we don't have that time. So I'm going to come up off the ball, and after I do one side, stretch it out. So just shifting my hips side to side, like windshield wipers with the hips only. And then I'll open my knees to the side, big toes to touch, shift myself to child's pose, which is always nice. Come back up, and then I bring both feet to one side, shift the hips to the opposite side, and look towards my feet. Breathe into it. Shift the feet towards the other side, look towards my feet, hips towards the opposite side. Very nice. If you want a cat-cow a few times here, never hurts to do a cat-cow. And like we know about child's pose, take your child's pose whenever you feel like you need it. Take a deep breath in, exhale out. So now let's see how that has helped improve my hip abduction. Much better. Even my hip will allow a little bit more balance and stability without all of that tension from my hip abductors. And in my gate pose, I'm able to lean over now. So I have much more freedom and flexibility in this movement right here. I have freedom of movement now, all from that peaceful conversation with my hip abductors. Well, hopefully I was able to show you a little bit of how to use yoga therapy balls for self-massage. Maybe you can use them too in your self-care practice. From my heart, my words, and my thoughts, Namaste.